Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, June 30th, 2023. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. It is the last trading day of the month, of the week, and also of the quarter. Next week, we begin the first trading days here of July and also of the new quarter, Q3. So at the moment here, we have one more day to kind of put in the final pivots here before the quarterly pivots are in, and then we have some potential outcomes heading into next month. As of right now, we have a very narrow 2-day range with a great upside break here that's played out. This initially began after the Monday weakness here and the turnaround Tuesday that we were looking for. That turnaround Tuesday is now fed into a rally heading into the holiday shortened week next week. So Monday is a half day. Tuesday, the market will be closed in observance of the 4th of July holiday here in the United States. So right now, we have a bit of strength. Currently, prices have reached the previous week's high. That was the idea as well. If we can find a way to reject down here, we could return back to the midpoint at 44.21 and then push through the high at 44.62. We're now at 44.68, and through that high, I guess the high is here, and we could be looking at much more near-term strength ahead, whether today or into early next week, where we push through a new high and find the 4,500 level. From there, we'll see what happens. If a rejection develops, we could be looking at a snapback to the monthly pivot midpoint, or perhaps even the midpoint of the previous quarter. So just some thoughts as we head into the next week of trading. If we take a look here at the NQ, you'll notice the NQ remains quite bullish as well. We noted before that this strong close to the lows here could be followed by something like this, where we get a failed new low and a deep rally. This one didn't quite get a failed new low. Instead, bounced right off the previous close and rallied through the previous session's midpoint. That was bullish. We were looking for checkmark trend days here, and now we're getting an initial upside break through 2-day highs. That push through 15.2 right now opens up more upside ahead. Initially, we were looking for price to rally back toward the previous week's high price. That's at 15.320. 15.320 is about right there. So we're still looking at more upside to go get that target up ahead. Again, given the buy the dip situation here and a strong low, we could be looking at a push at the very least to recent highs at 15.475 on a swing basis, but even perhaps through those highs by some degree here, perhaps 1,000 points or more. Overall, this is going to be a big time level to watch, because a breakthrough opens up more upside, a rejection, and you're still within a developing narrow range. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. Now, crude oil managed to bounce off the 67 level yet again. That 67 level, tremendous support right in that zone right there. That's going to be a big level heading into Q3 as well. You'll see right here the previous quarter's range here for Q1 was here. Basically, that's the range, and then we had this Q2 pivots. Then you see right here, that's the high of the current quarter, that's the low of the current quarter, so it's an outside quarter. Both quarters virtually share the same midpoint. 73.59 is the midpoint here, and 73.50 or so is the midpoint here. So very clear range. Right now we're closing right at the center, or very close to closing near the center of the monthly range. So we're clearly still stuck in this range here at the moment with very defined edges. So it just depends on how we play out to begin. If we go pushing through the 67s, we have a great edge down here to watch for another bounce back and retracement back up the range. If price can push through 73.59, that's going to be another big level to watch, because if it can push through that level, it opens up the top of the range at 83.50. If it comes up here and fails at 73, perhaps we rotate back down. So those edges are going to be very, very important as we head into next quarter. Right now, 67 a big level. You still have kind of a rounded downward slope to the upper edges of this range here, and right now this market has also been very reluctant to maintain any semblance of strength, especially after this move here. So again, this little move right here could be met with selling pressure early next month to find out what that 67 support is about. All right, let's take a look here at gold futures. Gold with a very, very strong intraday low in the previous session. Very, very strong. It helped set the low for the month, and that's pretty much it, because no matter how strong the lows have been, no matter if it's been a 1, 2, or 3 day rotation up, the bearish downtrend has taken over in significant fashion. So with this one breaking down through 1940 now, big significant market structure edge, any bounce to begin early next month could be a selling opportunity for another rotation down to new lows. We're looking for 1886 as a quick target, but really we're looking for this thing to rotate back down toward the 1830 to 1800 zone, and especially that 1810 CVPOC. So we could be looking at quite a bit more weakness up ahead. The next pullback, the next bounce, whether it's a 1, 2, or 3 day bounce, could be an opportunity to look for rejection, defend, and look for an inverted check mark trend month to the downside. That's exactly what played out this month following last month's significant rejection and sell signal on the monthly chart basis. So we could be looking at more weakness ahead after any bounce over the next several days in gold, as long as gold continues to hold below 1940 especially. All right, let's take a look lastly here at the YM. You'll see the YM right now bouncing back pretty tremendously after filling the gap down here. Initially, this one's selling off the hardest of mostly anything out here. But lately here, we've seen a very strong bullish reversal to the upside. Again, from a weekly perspective here, this thing turning around very strongly from the lows and driving higher day after day. Stop run day by the end of the day yesterday, and we're seeing another one here today. So here's the developing quarterly pivots for next month. Obviously this close will depend on today's final close. This midpoint is pretty much in place, so is this low. Now this midpoint can change if for some weird reason we go find a high, but that's not likely to change. So right now really we're looking to see where that close is. Maybe that affects a little bit of this middle pivot and this one here. But other than that, the range is in. And so with this close here, we could be looking again for another rotation up here, a test above the previous quarter's highs. And if a rejection occurs, which will also coincide with 35K, we may be looking at a return trip back down toward the midpoint. That would be 33,754. That could be an early start to how this thing plays out in Q3. So keeping an eye on this as it develops. Again, very strong developing move here already today. You're expecting this thing to remain strong overall heading into the end of the day. Even if we see a little bit of a pullback here, could be buying the dips until proven otherwise, and we could have a fairly quiet afternoon heading into Monday's half day and Tuesday's holiday here in the US. So the next pre-market video will be Wednesday morning. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room.